So after 3 trips to different ER hospitals across Ontario, where they all told me the same thing, they said, "Oh, it's nothing serious, you're just constipated." And I went, "Excuse me? Are you trying to tell me I'm full of crap?" I know that. And they said, "Oh, yeah, just take this Turbolax and you'll be fine." Well, the 4th trip to emerge within 2 months was a little more serious, and the paramedics were awesome. And they said, "Where do you want to go? We're in downtown Toronto. Where do you want to go?" I said, "Well, if you had my symptoms, where would you go?" And they both looked at each other and said, "Toronto General." So they get me to Toronto General, and we walk in, and the doctor looks at me and says, "I am not letting you out of here until I figure out what's wrong." And I was thankful for that. And at the same time, I was, uh-oh, I wonder what is wrong. So 3 blood tests, and 29 hours later, they suspected something was up, and I started to get a little worried, and they admitted me into the hospital. And so I sneak up to the 14th floor at Toronto General, and the next morning, this doctor sort of storms into my room, flips back the high-tech security curtain, says, "Are you Mr. Spilchuk?" And I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "You've got cancer," which sort of took me aback. We suspected it might be something. We were hoping it was only minor. Uh, and I said, "What are you trying to tell me?" And he says, "Well, didn't you know?" And I said, "Well, we suspected, but nobody had told me quite so bluntly." And he says, "Well, it's pretty serious." And I said, "Well, are you trying to tell me to get my affairs in order?" And he said, "I would if I were you." And my natural defense mechanism is humor. So I just turned to him and said, "I haven't had any affairs." And I tried to make him laugh, and he sort of smirked, but he said, "This is pretty serious." So on February 1st, 2009, they tell me, "Get your affairs in order." And then bone marrow biopsies, draining 5.1 liters of fluid out of my lungs, 8 chemotherapy treatments, all kinds of side effects. On August 5th of the very same year, due to my faith, my family, my friends, great chemo drugs, awesome doctors, amazing nurses, they said, "You're cancer free." And I went, whoa. And I'm just getting goosebumps telling you that now. And I wondered, why did I go through that? And it was time for me to stand up and do my thing in the world. And I didn't have some sort of vision come to me, but what I did have was a stark reality. Like, man, now as of this day, I'm 54 years old. Back then I was 51, and I said, "Gee, I've tried to do so many things in my life. What's going on?" As a result of all that, I've written this book as a thank you to the doctors, the nurses, my family, my friends, and my faith. I've written this book called The Cancer Dance. This is just the advanced 1-chapter copy, and here's the entire manuscript. I'm very, very proud of it. It's the goal is to help people. It's called The Cancer Dance. What goes on after you hear the words, "You've got cancer"? Because when you hear those words, almost everybody I've talked to says that all the words from anybody, especially the doctor, come out like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 and you don't hear a thing because you're now wondering what goes on. How does the chemo work? Am I going to lose my hair? Am I going to live? What's going to go on? This book is all about helping you get there. It's helping you have an attitude of gratitude for where you're at. It's helping you go through some fun stuff and some cartoons. And there's all kinds of different ways. I talk about inspirational heroes from other people who've survived the dance. I list a whole bunch of celebrities and their types of cancers. But it's all about you and how are you going to get through this cancer dance. And you'll notice up in the book that the first C in cancer is with small c. And there's a purpose to that because everybody says, "Well, I've got the big C." Well, even though it's very serious and we have to give it attention, the one thing I want to make sure we do is don't give it that much attention and that much importance. It's an event in your life, and we have to deal with it. And you have to deal with it just one piece at a time. This book is full of ideas and strategies and fun from just to make you smile a little bit because humor is a great healing mechanism. There's some terror-filled moments in there because not only was I going through cancer, I joke with people now that it took me 18 months to learn my ABCs. And they go, "What do you mean?" And I said, well, accident, bankruptcy, cancer, divorce, employee theft, failed business, all in 18 months. And so some people say, well, maybe that contributed to the cancer. You know what? Maybe it did. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. All I know is I'm better now. And my goal is to get out there and share this message with people to give them hope, health, and healing. Thanks for tuning in. I love you and I wish you the best of health. And this book is for you, and it's for your family members, and it's for anybody who wants to celebrate their own cancer dance in their own way. We'll see you soon.